Hello, this is the lecture number 6 for the chapter Continuity and Differentiability, and in the last lecture we discussed the differentiability and some basics of differentiation and the derivative of composite function. In the exercise 5.2, most of the questions we have discussed in the basics of the derivative in the last lecture, and some of the questions I'm taking it here. For example, I'm taking the question number 7 of exercise 5.2. Now this is the derivative of root cot x square. We have the three functions here: root, cot, x square, as we have discussed in the last lecture. First of all, we differentiate the root, then we differentiate cot, then we differentiate x square. So derivative of root is 1 upon 2 root x. So in place of x we have cot x square. So we have differentiated this root. Now we have to differentiate cot x square. So d upon dx of cot x square. Now we differentiate cot. Now the derivative of cot is cot is minus cosec square x. So derivative of cot is minus cosec square x. So in place of x we have x square. Derivative of cot is minus cosec square x. So in place of x we have x square. Now we'll differentiate x square. So multiply by the derivative of x square, which is 2x. So it is 2x cosec square x square upon 2 root cot x square. Again I'm repeating it. First of all, differentiate root, then cot, then x square. In the first step, you differentiate root. In the second step, you differentiate cot. In the third step, you differentiate x square. Like this, you have to differentiate the composite functions. Let us take another. It is d upon dx of cos root x. So first of all, differentiate cos, then differentiate root x. So derivative of cot is minus minus sine root x. And now multiply with the derivative of root x, which is equal to 1 upon 2 root x. These are the simple questions which we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now after that we have some good question number 9 and 10. You have to check the differentiability of the function at a particular point. Now to check whether the function is differentiable or not, we find its right hand limit, we find its left hand limit. The function fx in the question number 9 is given as mod x minus 1. Mod x minus 1 it is given. Now we find the right hand limit. Now right hand limit as written as capital R f dash 1. You have to check the differentiability at 1. So you have to replace x by 1. Now the formula for the right hand limit is f x plus h minus fx upon h limit x goes to 0. So in place of x we have 1. So it comes out to be limit f 1 plus h minus f1 upon h limit h goes to 0. This is the formula for the right hand limit. Now f1 plus h. So replace x by 1 plus h here. 1 plus h minus 1. f11 means replace f x by 1 here. So it is equal to 1 minus 1 mod upon h. Now solve it very carefully. So once 1 cancel out, a mod h, this is 0 upon h. So mod h upon h is equal to 1. Mod h is equal to h and h upon h is 1. You don't have to take the limit. Without taking the limit, it comes out to be 1. Now we will find the left hand derivative LHD. It written as LF dash S F dash 1. We are finding the left hand derivative at 1. So it is somewhat changed from this. If it is equal to f1 minus h, in place of plus we have negative sign, in place of h we have minus h. This is the left hand derivative. So f1 minus h minus f1 upon minus h limit h goes to 0. So f minus 1 minus h replace x by 1 minus h. The 1 minus h minus 1, 1 minus 1 f1 upon minus h. So minus 1 se minus 1 cancelled out. It is minus h ka mod. It is 0 upon minus h. This is mod minus h is equal to plus h upon minus h. Comes out to be minus 1. So the right hand derivative is 1. Left hand derivative is minus 1. Because right hand derivative is not equal to left hand derivative, so we say that fx is not differentiable at x is equal to 1. The function is differentiable if its right hand derivative is equal to left hand derivative, as you have done in your limits topic in class 11. If the limit exists, then the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. Similarly, we have the question number 10. The function is given as greatest integer value function sign is this. A step function we call it. right hand derivative at 1, we have to find to r f dash 1 right hand derivative. So it comes out to be f1 plus h minus f1 upon h. f1 plus h will be 1 plus h step function. f1 means step function of 1 upon h, limit h goes to 0. Now you should know what is the meaning of this sign. The step function means the value of the step function is integer when it is an integer. Integer is equal to integer, and whenever we have any decimal, then it is equal to an integer just before that. Now 1 plus h means 1 point something. Now the step function of 1 point something will be equal to 1 because the step function is the smaller integer than the given decimal. So it is smaller, just smaller integer than that. 1.9 step function is 1. 2.9 step function is 2. Minus 1.9 step function is equal to minus 2. Listen to carefully. The integer smaller, just smaller than that the given decimal. So step function for 1 plus h is 1. So 1 minus 1 upon h, it comes out to be 0. Now we find the left hand derivative at 1. So very same thing, f1 minus h minus f1 upon minus h, limit h goes to 0. This is the left hand derivative at 1. Now for 1 minus h, put it here, the function is this, f1 minus h. Now 1 minus h means less than 1, means 0 point something, and the step function for 0 point something is 0. Listen it carefully. I've just told that 1 minus h is less than 1, that is 0 point something, and the smaller integer than that will be 0. So it will be equal to 0. See the difference, 1 plus h is equal to 1 and 1 minus h is equal to 0. Minus 1, step function 1 minus integer is integer, upon minus h. So 1 upon h, limit h goes to 0 will be equal to infinity. This is infinity. So right hand derivative is not equal to left hand derivative. So the function is not differentiable at x is equal to 1. It is not differentiable at x is equal to 1. So this is the way we have to prove that whether the function is differentiable at a particular point or not. If we find its right hand derivative, left hand derivative, if they comes to be equal, then we say that the function is differentiable. Otherwise not differentiable. In both the cases we are getting not differentiable. In the next exercise, we have the derivative of the implicit function. So first of all, you should know what is the meaning of implicit function. Now, when a relationship between any two variable x and y is expressed in a way, such a way that it is easy to solve for y and write y is equal to fx, or in the easy language we can say that if we can express y in terms of x or x in terms of y, then the function is said to be explicit, otherwise it will be implicit. If we can express y in terms of x or x in terms of y, then the function is said to be explicit. For example, this x minus y minus pi is equal to 0. This is an explicit function because we can find the value of y, x in terms of y and the value of y in terms of x. So this is the explicit function. Now let us take this example. X plus sine in the bracket xy minus y, and x into y is the angle of this sine. Now we cannot express x in terms of y or y in terms of x. So this function is known as implicit function. X cannot be expressed in terms of y and y cannot be expressed in terms of x, then it is known as implicit function. This is known as implicit functions. Now in exercise 5.3 we have the derivative of implicit functions. Now how you have to differentiate 2x plus 3y is equal to sine x? Now you simply differentiate left hand side and right hand side with respect to x, and wherever you are getting y and you are differentiating it, you have to multiply with y dy upon dx. It means we are differentiating y with respect to x. So derivative of 2x is 2, derivative of 3y is 3, and you have to multiply with d by dx because we have differentiated y with respect to x, and derivative of sine x is equal to cos x. So what is the d by dx? Cos x minus 2 upon 3. Similarly here 2x plus 3y is equal to sine y, derivative of 2x is 2, derivative of 3y is 3, d by dx, because we have differentiated y with respect to x. So whenever you are differentiating y, you have to multiply with respect to d by dx. Sine y derivative will be cos y, and you have to multiply with d by dx. So we are getting 2 d by dx. तो you take d by dx to the same side, take d by dx common, तो cos y minus 3, तो d by dx will be equal to 2 upon cos y minus 3. Similarly here, ax plus by square is equal to cos y, तो derivative of ax is a, derivative of by square, the derivative of y square will be equal to 2y, and you have to multiply with d by dx. And the derivative of cos y will be equal to minus sin y, and you have to multiply with d by dx. Whenever you are differentiating y, you have to write it there d by dx. It means we have differentiated y with respect to x. So again we have 2 d by dx. So in these two you can take d by dx common. So it will be 2by plus sin y is equal to minus a. So d by dx is equal to minus a upon this. Similarly this xy plus y square is equal to 10x plus y. Now you can easily differentiate it. You have to use the product rule here, x into y. So first of all differentiate x, which is equal to y, multiply with the second function plus x as it is. Derivative of y will be d by dx. Now y square derivative is 2y, multiply with the d by dx because we have differentiated y with respect to x. Derivative of 10x is sec square x, and derivative of y is d by dx. So we are getting d by dx here 3 times. So we take d by dx common, it will be x plus 2y minus 1 sec square x minus y. You separate the terms. So d by dx will be equal to this upon this. This is the method to differentiate the implicit function. You simply differentiate as an equation, and whenever you are differentiating it, differentiating y, you simply put after it d by dx. It means that we have differentiated y with respect to x. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.